Well, that's the scene here at Ellen Road, Leeds, for this State Express Challenge Cup semi-final between Wigan and York. Torrential rain throughout the night and consistently through the day has produced a waterlogged pitch here at Ellen Road. The ground staff have strived manfully to keep this game on. In fact, the Colts match that was scheduled to be played earlier had to be cancelled, and it's indeed a small miracle that the game in fact is going ahead. There you can see the Wigan side coming onto the Ellen Road pitch, their supporters far outnumbering those of York, as one would probably expect. Both teams as per programme, but one notable absentee from the York side is Peter Philippou, their hooker, who broke a thumb, and he is replaced by the utility player Steve Nuttall, so he will be wearing number 9. Of course, Danny Campbell, the Kiwi forward for Wigan, is out and has been for a few matches with a broken leg, but it's still a strong looking Wigan side coached by Alex Murphy that start this match as undoubted favourites. In fact, Wigan are in their 18th semi-final, a record shared with Leeds, who of course appear in next week's semi-final against Widnes at Swinton, whereas York are only the second division side to appear in a semi-final since the reintroduction of the second division. And in fact, it's only the second time in York's history that they have reached the semi-final stage. In 1931 they beat Warrington 15-5 at Headingley, and then eventually lost 22-8 to Halifax at Wembley. But the record of York, they are 9th in the second division, as indeed Wigan are 9th in the first division. York in the first round won 17-8 at Rochdale, and then a terrific win at Wakefield by 20 points to 12, and the most notable victory in the quarter-final at Wigginton Road. They beat the fancied Castleford side by 14 points to 12. And the star man on that occasion was Graham Steadman, the outside half, who scored all of their 14 points. And in fact, in only 39 appearances for York, he has scored 25 tries and 55 goals. So we're ready for the kick-off, and it's going to be York in their black and yellow hoop jerseys to kick off from right to left. Wigan, of course, in their familiar red and white hoops, and it's Steadman that gets the game underway. Steve Hampson. Now, the notable thing of York's victory over Castleford was their tackling, and they'll have to be on their toes today. It's Brian Juliff, who scored a try in last year's John Player final here against Leeds. Went through, and of course York on familiar territory. Whitfield punts that ball into the York half. Trevor Midgley, the York fullback, and you can see the water splashing around the ankles of the players there. York in possession. Ian Tansley going through now. Now it's still York. There's an infringement, and the first penalty of the game, in fact, goes to York. Ronnie Campbell, who refereed that John Player final here at Ellen Road last year, is the referee today. He comes from Widnes, of course. Steve Nuttall at the play the ball. Trevor Hooper barging his way forward, brought down by 3 Wigan tacklers. Gary Price. Steve Nuttall acting halfback. Wayne Morrell. Price, a coloured winger for York, finally goes down. Nuttall again acting halfback. Gary Price moves forward, Gary Smith. Steadman. Chris Harrison. And this time Wigan get the decision. It'll be Colin Whitfield that will be looking to put this ball into touch on this near side. Finds a good touch. Sean Edwards retrieved that ball. Brian Case hammered down. That was opposite number and skipper Brian Hughes for York. Nick Scott in the action. Graham West, the skipper, got off a good pass. Wayne Elvin finds himself in a morass of mud. Sean Edwards gets the ball away. Stevens to Cannon. The Australian forward converted to outside half. Price is back there. And he's brought down 1 yard from the York line. Come York again. Nuttall collared by West. Dragged a couple of yards back towards the York line. Now it's loose forward. Gary Smith bundled into touch. So 3 minutes gone, and it's Wigan roared on by their supporters. As the rain comes down, in fact it's turning to sleet. And we had news that there were hold-ups on the M62 this morning coming across from Lancashire because of snow on the Pennines. So it's going to be Graham Steadman. Left foot into touch on that far side. And of course, in conditions like this, the handling is going to be difficult. York using their forwards. That's not all. And they're within a couple of yards of the halfway line. That's Steadman, left foot. And Sean Edwards is back there, does a sensible thing, stops it with his foot, starts to go, but he's brought down by Wayne Morrell, just inside the Wigan 25. And Wayne Elvin lost possession. York pick it up. Ian Wilson tried to make ground. So York took advantage of that mishandling. And they've got possession again, Steadman. And we're going to be warned about this lad's pace. Not all acting half-back. Gary Price. And he's lost possession. It's picked up again, but the ball had gone forward. So the second scrum of the game, the first one resulted in a penalty to York. Gary Stevens in possession there, and Wigan have the put in and the head, and in fact they get a penalty. Infringement by not all the hooker. So once again it'd be Colin Whitfield to put that ball into touch. Not as good of kick as he would have hoped, sliced off the boot. It was Brian Case with a red headband charging his way forward. Brian Hughes was there. Now Case tries again. In fact, it's Howie Tamati, the New Zealander hooker. And the infringement, dropping on the player with the knee, clearly indicated by the referee. Ronnie Campbell. Whitfield again to find touch. So there'll be a play the ball on the halfway line. Once we get the other ball off the pitch. Now it's Case. He's met solidly by Mick Scott. Marty acting half-back. Ryan Juliff loses possession. Play on, says the ref. York get it. Gary Price. Ian Tamsley going through there. And already the shirts of both sides getting covered. Difficult to pick up the players. That player going through there is Trevor Hooper. Eventually brought down. That's Price. Scored a hat-trick on his debut for Yorkshire. Hat-trick of tries. Smith trying to wriggle his way through. Now it's Steadman. Straight into the hands of David Stevenson. Stevenson played 2 test matches against the 1982 Kangaroos. Case looks for support, but Hughes is on him. Eventually stops him. To Marty, Stevens. Wayne Elvin. To Marty again, Stevens. Very experienced. Graham West lost possession. There's Trevor Hooper. He gets possession. That's 3 times now that Wigan have lost possession. Gary Smith. Henderson Gill scored a try against Leeds here in the John Player final last season, which Wigan won, of course. Hughes. Nuttall. In Tamsley. Nuttall again. Steadman with a kick. This looks a good one. Just the wrong side of that corner flag. Might be a drop out on the 25. But after 9 minutes of this game, York certainly holding their own, carrying on where they left off against Castleford. My error. It was obviously a play the ball on the 25. Now we can see what the conditions are telling a tale in this match. Cannon, a strong 22-year-old Australian. Stevens, Case, Elvin. Stevens with a kick. Midgley across, straight into a puddle. A good touch in actual fact. Harry Stevens. 5 Great Britain caps in 1979, and he cost £35,000 from Castleford. There he's a publican. Now it's Price. Did well, got past one, couldn't get past the second one. Well brought down by Colin Whitfield. York try again, Gary Price. Wilson. Nuttall, smothered by Case. Wilson again. Plenty of work being put in by these York forwards. Now it's Steadman, same ploy as before. Once again Sean Edwards, 18-year-old, signed by Wigan. Under intense competition. A lot expected from this youngster in the years to come. To Marty, Stevens. Big Graham West forced backwards. Bodies falling and slithering all over the place. think it's almost certain that Hunslet's game against Barrow tomorrow won't be played here. Marty, back to Whitfield, driven up the middle of the field, where it eludes Midgley, and goes over the dead ball line. And Ronnie Campbell must have thought it touched Midgley, as he indicates, so that will be a dropout under the posts. Once again, the conditions playing a big part. The wind has dropped, but the rain's still coming down in torrents. Hampson, the Wigan fullback, did well, got from the halfway line to inside the York 25. To Marty, Stevens, Case, what a tackle. Gary Smith quickly in the tackle. Stevens slipped as he tried to jink his way through. Will come Wigan again, crunching tackle by the York skipper Brian Hughes. It was on Elvin. Sixth tackle. Stevens back to Whitfield, shaped as though he's going for a drop. Long ball out to Henderson Gill, caught by Price. And in fact York have a penalty. So certainly no signs of weakness in either defence at the moment. Stedman puts the ball into touch on that far side. Wigan have been in 18 semis now to date. They haven't reached the last four since 1970, 14 years ago. Tansley pulled down. Cannon to Marty. We'll try again. Possession, that'll be a scrum down. Once again, Wigan have the advantage. And they get possession. Cannon. Hampson. This is a kickable penalty, and I'm sure Colin Whitfield will be instructed by Graham West, his skipper. Have a go at putting this one over. Indeed he has. And so after 15 minutes of this first half in terrible conditions here at Ellen Road, Wigan have the first opportunity to go in front. The ideal position for Colin Whitfield. "96 goals so far this season, Colin Whitfield. So can the Wigan centre put Wigan in front? He can indeed. Wigan go in the lead after 16 minutes. So the scoreline: York 0, Wigan 2. So Graham Stedman. Gets York away again. Cooper in possession. Hampson rather in possession for Wigan. With drive forward once again, encouraged by that goal from Whitfield. Case to Marty. Stevens. Julep. Here's Nick Scott. Stevens. Henderson Gill come inside. He's smothered by 4 York players. Final tackle. Marty Stevens. And an infringement. To the result. In a scrum. As soon as the ball is retrieved. York have the advantage. Must be difficult for those big forwards to keep their feet in these conditions. And York get a penalty, which is their 4th. So Graham Steadman has the opportunity to put York on the offensive. Safe kick, and York will play the ball some 5 yards from the Wigan 25. Now this looks like a set move. They lose possession, picked up again by Wilson. That's fortuitous for York, but they're inside that Wigan 25 now. Infringement. The touch judge on the far side, Mr. Cooper from Leeds. And it looks as though one of the Wigan forwards is going to be spoken to. Which is, in fact, Brian Case. York have a penalty, and this is in a kickable position for Graham Steadman. Conditions obviously not ideal for kicking. Very difficult with the non-kicking foot to find some sort of firm ground. So Graham Steadman will attempt to get York back on terms with his penalty, left-footed to the right of the Wigan post. 2 yards back from the Wigan 25. Looks good, it's over, that's the equaliser. So York, the 2nd division side, get back on terms. After 20 minutes, it's a Steadman goal. York 2, Wigan 2. Quickly back into action. Price. Brought down by Whitfield. Gary Price, the 2nd row forward. Ian Townsley tries on his own. Trevor Hooper, big number 8. Finally collared by Mick Scott. And over-enthusiasm provides York with another penalty. Penalties running at 6 to York and 2 to Wigan at the moment. Townsley to Marty in there. That's not all. Case brings him down. Some assistance from David Stevenson. That's Wilson. Up to the halfway line. Not all acting halfback. Gary Price. Townsley. Final tackle coming up. Look for Steadman. There he goes. Gets to evades one tackle, kicks it through. As he got the pace, Sean Edwards did well. That was enterprising play. And then a moment of silliness gives away a penalty. But there we could see Graham Steadman evaded a tackle, pushed the ball through, punted the ball through, and only the speed of Sean Edwards got him there before him. Marty, Case, hammered down by Trevor Hooper and Brian Hughes. Stevens, crunching tackle there on Mick Scott. To Marty, to Stevens. Juliff goes down. Marty, Case, West loses possession. But once again the conditions given a turnover of possession, but York have had the better of that. Wigan, on my reckoning, have lost possession like that on 4 occasions. Wilson, not all. Goes one way, then the other. Didn't get far. And Brian Juliff quickly in on him. Good Trevor Hooper. Nuttall. This is going to be a turnover. First of the game, Wigan get possession. Chris Harrison in an awkward position there. Wigan come forward and they lose possession again. Gary Price quick to pick up the York. Hughes, long ball out, Tansley. Ball down by Juliff. Wilson acting half back. Gary Smith. Not all. Thrives in at Cannon. Wilson. Not getting far, they're keeping possession, but they're not getting far at all. Gary Smith. Wilson. Haphazard passing, but they get away with it. Townsley. Now he loses possession, but gets it back again. Campbell is determined that that's got to be a scrum down, and Wigan will have the put in and the head. So one would expect them to get possession, as indeed they do. Whitfield. To Marty, Stevens. Loose forward Elvin. And Wigan lose possession again. And there's some off the ball incident between Henderson Gill and Brian Hughes. The touch judge is on. So we'll have to wait and see what Mr. Campbell and Mr. Cooper decide. Having a conference on that far side. And he's calling over Henderson Gill. And the penalty goes to York. Henderson Gill will have mixed feelings of his last appearance here in that John Player final. He scored a magnificent try, but in doing so had to go off injured. Hooper, big number 8. 3 Wigan players to bring him down. Tamsley. Gary Price managed to get the ball away. Kick through from Steadman. Hampson's there, beautifully tackled by Steadman. Marty, brought down by Nuttall. Sean Edwards, first chance for a run. Stevens, Scott. Stevens again, big Graham West. Wigan up to the halfway line. Final tackle, look for the kick. Whitfield hammered right down deep into that York half. Trevor Midgley lets that ball run over the dead ball line. So York will have possession on their 25. Cooper. And Mick Scott looked to have come up with his fist, but the touch judge here in a better position than I and decided there was nothing untoward. Gary Smith. York break up to the halfway line. Tansley. Brought down by West. Gary Price gets it to Hughes, he loses possession, and Mick Scott snaps it up for Wigan. Fierce tackling. Ryan Hughes, the York skipper. Did that advanced by Cannon. Gary Stevens breaks clear, looks for support, gets it inside, and then possession is lost once again. Graham Steadman to the rescue for York. Tansley. Price. The other Price, the York wingman, coming across this Wigan defence, eventually goes down. Steadman. Sean Edwards takes it well. There he goes across the field. Steadman tries to get him. Makes 2 tackles, gets it out there. There's a chance. Whitfield, and a terrible pass to Henderson Gill. Wigan had the opportunity, and that was set up by young Sean Edwards. Evaded 2 York tackles, got the ball to Whitfield. He had Henderson Gill outside him, but the pass wasn't good enough. Another scrum. This time Wigan will have the advantage halfway between the halfway line and the York 25. Cannon. Stevens. Judith. Tamati. Stevens. Scott. Graham West acting halfback. Decides to go it alone. 8 minutes to go in this first half. I remind you the scoreline: York 2, Wigan 2. Wigan have possession. Stevens, Cannon, up and under. Whitfield's there, and an obstruction, I think, on Cannon gives Wigan a penalty kick. As Cannon burst through, flipped the ball over, he was obstructed, and Ronnie Campbell, looking for the advantage, eventually gives the penalty kick to Wigan in a kickable position for Colin Whitfield. With 7 minutes to go before half time, this could be an important kick. But once again, I stress the conditions very difficult for goal kicking. Can Whitfield make it his 97th goal of the season? Got one already this afternoon. Looks good. It is good. 4-2. So 33 minutes gone in this first half, and the boot of Colin Whitfield has put Wigan once again into the lead by 4 points to 2. Edwards hammered down on his own 25. Tamati, Case. Stevens goes one way, then the other. Good play by Gary Stevens, playing very well in recent games. That ball went backwards. Wigan still have possession. Tamati, Tulip trying to hammer his way through. Elvin. All of these players look very much alike. And the players are waiting there because Ronnie Campbell's gone to both benches and warned the incumbents. Obviously something they may have said. Gary Stevens having to have some mud wiped from his eyes. There's York. We've got a bit of nonsense going on now. Brian Case doing his best to quieten it down. And the York skipper Brian Hughes is going to be spoken to. Also, it looks like Tamati, the Wigan hooker. There's a bit of feeling going into that scrum as it forms. One against the head, as it were. Wigan get possession. And that's what happens if you argue back. Whitfield. And that stopped in the water in the in-goal area. John Kane, I think it's his first touch of the ball in actual fact. Makes about 10 yards. Hooper. What a good run by the big number 8. Offside against Wigan. It's all happening in these final minutes of this first half. Stedman into touch. Good touch indeed. Kick from the 25, found the touch on the halfway line. So with 3 minutes to go, can York do something before the interval? They trail by 4 points to 2. And that shows what's happened. Both teams look the same with mud on their jerseys. The York player gave the ball straight to one of the Wigan players. Cannon, acting halfback, Stevens, West. Brought down by Price and Nuttall. Stevens again. Case. Tamati to Stevens. And to show the ball, Stevens. Cannon. Goes one way, then the other. Finally brought down. Tamati, Stevens kicks the ball high, but that'll go over the dead ball line. So, coming up to 2 minutes for stoppage time in this first half. Chance of York coming from this Ellen Road stadium. Plenty of support for the second division side. Price. Hooper. And he gets out of 3 tackles. Finally the fourth from Cannon brings the man down. Gary Price, second row forward. Wilson didn't get far at all. Brian Juliff brought him down. Stedman hammered that down into the Wigan 25. Steve Hampson's there. Gets over his 25, running well. And he brought down midway between the halfway line and his 25. Tamati to Stevens. Down by Gary Smith. Tamati again. Case. Difficult player to bring down. We can try again. Wayne Elvin. Cannon. Stevens. Tamati to West. Mitchley down on the ball as the hooter goes, and under the conditions, both these sides getting a warm round of applause from this fairly large Ellen Road crowd. No quarter given by either side. Under very, very difficult conditions indeed. Quite an entertaining first half, and as the players leave for a welcome cup of tea at half-time, the scoreline, York 2, Wigan 4. Welcome back to Ellen Road, and the commentators here are very thankful, and indeed the reporters, because both sides have got fresh shirts on, so hopefully we'll be able to, for the first few minutes anyway, distinguish between the players. The only player to keep his old shirt by the look of it is Jeff Price, the York winger. Colin Whitfield kicks off in this second half. Kane on the far side. As York make progress up to their 25. Hooper. Been prominent in the first half. Stedman. Kick. That would fall to Steve Hampson, who took it well. Finally collared by Gary Smith, the York loose forward. Tamati, Stevens. Elvin makes a break. Stevens. Juliff. Just inside the York 25. Tamati, Stevens again. Shows the ball, gets it to West. Followed by three York forwards. Brian Hughes, the skipper, being one of them. Tamati to Stevens. Cannon. Case. Now look for the kick, the final tackle. Whitfield. Kicks it through. And it must be a try. It is. York couldn't hold the ball. And it was Colin Whitfield who kicked that ball through. York couldn't hold it. Whitfield on the spot, dropped on the ball. First try of the game. Goes to Colin Whitfield, so he's got all of Wigan's points so far, all 8 of them. And with this kick to come from Colin Whitfield, they lead by 8 points to 2. And that was an ideal time for Wigan to score, straight after the break. Once again, the conditions playing a part, but credit to Colin Whitfield. He followed his kick through, pounced on the mistake. Wigan in the ascendancy. Brought to life the Lancastrian following here. Whitfield with a kick, and he seemed to slip as his kicking boot got to the ball. So 8 points to 2. So what can York do? The second division standard bearers, can they come back? Hampson makes ground to his 25. Stevens manages to get that ball away. Juliff. York with Wigan with their tails up now. Tamati acting halfback. Stevens with a kick, looking for touch. Doesn't get it this time. Trevor Midgley back there. Up to his 25, not quite. He was brought down by Tamati. Not all, makes a couple of yards. Hooper. And the tackling of Wigan, the defence is good. Hughes. So the first scrum of this second half. Wigan have the advantage. Will have to be taken again. Campbell having a few problems getting those two packs of forwards down. Steam rising. and he's had enough. York get the penalty. And in that first half, the scrummage count went 5-1 in Wigan's favour. Wigan in possession. Wilson, Hughes, comes into Case and West. Hooper. That's all. Gary Price. Midgley over the top, well taken. And then they lose possession. York come forward, just in the Wigan half. Price bouncing off their tacklers. Strong winger, Jeff Price. Steadman. And Wigan have kept a close eye on Graham Steadman. Tansley. Final tackle. Steadman, and now it's gone straight into touch. In fact, I think it was Ian Tansley that put that ball into touch. But however, it results in a scrum with Wigan's advantage, and they get yet another. Hampson making a break, stopped by his opposite number, Midgley. Stevens acting half-back. Juliff. Stevens again at acting halfback. That's Wayne Elvin, hammered backwards. Now Henderson Gill. Going across the field, back again, still in possession. Hughes has a go at him, and with a bit of help finally brings him down. Tamati, Stevens with a kick into that York 25. Kane is across. Brought down by a combination of Edwards and David Stevenson. Nuttall. Actually, it's Wilson, the scrum half. Made no ground whatsoever. Wigan's tackling getting keener and fiercer. Tansley loses it off one-handed. Whitfield on the spot. Nuttall looking for support. Hughes pushes the ball out. Hooper, and once again with the final tackle coming, York have made no progress. Steadman. That was half charged down, and York under considerable pressure. They've got the put in, but they've given away a penalty, feeding, and once again this is in a kickable position, and one would think that Colin Whitfield will go for goal. I think tries are going to be few and far between in conditions like this. Wigan come forward again. Stevens West couldn't hold it. York get possession. Gary Price made a couple of yards. Cooper. What a strong runner this prop forward is. Gary Smith going one way then the other, and still York penned in their own 25. Steadman with the kick. Steve Hampson chases back, picks up. Well tackled. For the first time in a long time, York got into the Wigan half. Now it's on the halfway line. This is going to be an infringement. The touch judge has the Blunden on. Penalty to Wigan. Case, what a strong player he is. Stevens switches play. Scott. Stevens jinking one way then the other. Tamati acting halfback. West. Falls backwards. Cannon. So what are Wigan going to do now? Hampson. Wayne Morrell in the action. So another scrum. And Wigan are maintaining this pressure. And there's going to be a substitution. Get another. Nick Hughes coming on, and Brian Hughes going off. So the York skipper's off, and his namesake Nick Hughes is on. 54 minutes gone. So that's the 7th scrum that Wigan have won. They've got possession. Cannon, Stevenson, Whitfield. Cannon goes on his own. So Wigan battering at that York line now. Elvin, and it's Tamati, doesn't quite get there. Wigan still got possession. Here's a chance, it must be a try, it is! And it looks like loose forward Wayne Elvin, the scorer. So 55 minutes gone, and after a lot of Wigan pressure, it finally told, and it looked like loose forward. Was it Brian Juliff? It's very difficult to tell. I think it was probably Brian Juliff who got over. And Whitfield tags on the goal points. So Wigan, their First Division class in superiority beginning to tell now. But York are battling all the way. But they trail now by 14 points to 2 with 57 minutes gone as Stedman restarts. Now this is a drop out from under the Wigan post. Must have touched the Wigan player. Bar or so. Stedman. That's all. Hughes, the substitute forward. Case was in there. Smith, Jinkin, Price, Scott's there. This is Brian Case, final tackle. Stedman tries to find touch, he won't do so because Henderson Gill's here. Now he's going on a run this near side, slips, but he's still in the clear. Finally hammered down, and Wigan midway in between their own 25 and goal line. Graham West forcing his way towards the 25. Case. West surrounded by York forwards. Tamati to Stevens. Once again, see how difficult those conditions are out there, and it's a credit really to both sides that we're seeing such an entertaining game as this under these conditions. York get possession, only their second scrummage win. Wilson, now it's Price. Going well, Scott across. And here's a chance. Once again, Scott was across the saving tackle. York on the attack. 2 yards now from the Wigan line. Tansley. Finally, Chris Harrison is collared, and York have lost ground. Wilson, Stedman, up and under, aimed towards those posts, and over the dead ball line. So full credit to York, they haven't given up, although they trail by 14 points to 2. They're still having a go. Elvin. Tamati to Stevens. Misses out west. Scott's brought down. Stevens in the action once again. Cannon. Wigan coming onto the ball quickly. Stevens. Kicks into that York 25. Mitchell is back. Fronted by 4 Wigan players. Hammett. Hughes a substitute. Mick Hughes. Wilson to Nuttall. Price stopped on his own 25. Stedman. Steve Hampson going towards that halfway line. Now it's Whitfield. Stevens. All the way to Case. Tamati to Stevens again. Elvin making a break into that York 25. Stevens. The kick dropped by the York defender. Advantage to Wigan. Another 6 tackles. Stevens again. Cannon. Case. Case again. Picks up that loose ball, ploughing his way forward. Stevens. Big Graham West. And he's still going, he's still going, he's still going. Finally stopped, about a foot short of that York line. So once again Wigan have the chance to extend their lead. Elvin. Little Gary Stevens going through there and then gives the ball away. Gary Price, the York man, and in fact York awarded a penalty. So a relief for some of the pressure. So 15 minutes to go. York 2, Wigan 14. There's one man that hasn't given up, Trevor Hooper. Hughes. And Cannon is taking possession in the tackle. Stevens. West. Stopped by Hooper. Stevens. Cannon. Looks for the gap. Needs a ball to Whitfield. Stevens yet again. Clever looking kick. Once again the York men drop it. That'll be a knock on. Knock forward. Scrum with Wigan's advantage. Probably about 4 or 5 yards short of that York line. So yet another chance for Wigan. Feeding, says a referee, Ronnie Campbell. Further chance wasted. So Graham Steadman finds touch on this near side. Price. Harry Smith. That's all. Now then, York finally breaking clear of their 25. Steadman with a kick. Once again, Hampson's there, well positioned. Drives forward. Still going. Finally collared on the halfway line. Cannon loses that ball off. Whitfield. Cannon. Dummies to Stevens. Still Wigan possession. West. Elvin. Acting half-back West. Stevens. Case. Stevenson. Cannon. Sean Edwards. Here come Wigan again. Scott. Hampson, the up and under. This time Midgley gets it but drops it backwards, so York luckily manage to get possession. But they're still being pinned back in their own 25. Very workmanlike performance from Wigan under very, very difficult conditions. Hooper. Clever looking kick through. Henderson Gill's back there. Just before Jeff Price. Hampson to Stevens. Shadowed by Wilson, his opposite number. Elusive player is Stevens. Case rather. And Wigan have lost possession. So again it's Hooper in the fray. Nuttall. It's a ball away to Gary Smith. First time for a long time York get into that Wigan half. Stedman. Not had too many opportunities. That's all. Midgley. Stedman. Gets the ball across. Now York have seemed to have a chance. Wayne Morrell going through. Inside that Wigan 25. Throwing the ball about now. Midgley in the line. Henderson Gill gets a hand to it. And he gets possession back, but that was pushed forward. Promising move from York. And credit to them. So York just inside the Wigan 25 have head and ball in this scrummage. Some running repairs, this time for Mick Hughes. With all that water on that pitch, it's no wonder that problems like that are occurring. So Ian Wilson to put the ball in, and York get possession. So now what can they do? 8 minutes left. Price gets the ball away to Wilson. In Tamsley. In Tamsley again. Support, can't get the ball away. Confident Wigan tackling. Hughes. Here they go. And Brian Case was back there to snap up that loose ball. And so was Colin Whitfield. So Wigan weather that minor storm from York. And with Henderson Gill slipping in, sliding, begin to come away. 6 minutes left. 14-2. Wayne Elvin been prominent amongst these Wigan forwards. Stevens, West. Howie Chamity, matching halfback. And Juliff, Chamity again. Whitfield with the kick. Trevor Midgley. Chinking one way and the other, but it doesn't make much difference because he's finally grounded by Mark Cannon. Now Jeff Price, strong winger. Really, having watched this game, one wonders what sort of game it would have been if the conditions had been kinder. In Townsley, gets the ball back. Spirited play by York. Graham Stedman showing something of what he can do. Forward they come again, Hughes. There's a chance, looks for support, gets it from Hughes. Now here's a chance for York. It must be a try, it is. Chris Harrison, the scorer. And to be fair, York deserve that try. They've stuck to their task, they haven't been overawed, they've worked hard, they've tackled hard, and in the last 5 or 10 minutes have been prepared to throw the ball about in difficult conditions, and it's finally reached its reward. After 75 minutes they've got a try. 14-6, Stedman with the goal chance, and if he goals this could set up a final few minutes for this good Ellen Road crowd. 14-8. So if York in this last 4 minutes can get a try and a goal, it'll be 14 apiece. Here they come, and one would think with 3 minutes left they'd be prepared to throw the ball about. They've got to try and break clear and get a try. In Tansley played extremely well. Big Trevor Hooper. Forward. Well, as this scrum forms, the announcement that Gary Stevens has got the Man of the Match award, and I don't think too many can argue with that, as he gets in the action again. What a good tackle from Mick Hughes. Mark Cannon. Case. So the tactics from Wigan now is to keep possession and keep it tight. And one might see a drop kick here. Indeed we are from Whitfield, but he didn't get hold of it. Could have got that point, that would have put the match really beyond York's reach, but as it stands at the moment, to try and a goal will equal the scores. York still trying. Credit to the second division, this York team. Trevor Hooper had a sparkling game, the big number 8. Tries to take on the old Wigan pack, and he's still going. What grit and determination typifies the York display today. Jeff Price. Well, York will be disappointed, but they've come out of this game with a lot of credit. And they're still in possession and trying to come forward. Finally, in fact, Gary Smith broke through that tackle of Brian Case, and that's saying something. Stedman. slides past Steve Hampson. Now he's got to maintain possession, not do anything silly as far as Wigan are concerned. Time is up, we're on additional time now. So all that Wigan have got to do is hang on to that ball. Gary Stevens, a man of the match. Tamati. Stevens. And there goes the hooter. Wigan are at Wembley, and the dejected looking York players, they've given everything they've got, and I think the applause that's ringing round the ground now is partly directed at the York side. They put up a tremendous performance against a very well organised, disciplined Wigan side. Wigan took the lead after 16 minutes with a Whitfield goal. That was equalised after 20 minutes by a Stedman goal. But after 33 minutes, Colin Whitfield got a try, or rather a second penalty, to make it 4-2. Then in the second half it started with a bang because Whitfield got the first try of the game. That made it 8-2. Golded another try for Wigan, and a goal by Whitfield made it 14-2. Harrison scored a try for York after 75 minutes, making it 14-6. Stedman got the goal, 14-8, and although York tried everything they could, Wigan were just too strong, too experienced on the day. A credit to both sides, difficult conditions, but both sides have given their all, and we've seen a very entertaining game. Credit must therefore go to both sides, but at the end of the day, it's Wigan that will face either Leeds or Widnes at Wembley. So there, with the final scoreline, it's York 8, Wigan 14.